Time travel in Star Wars? And how did the Jedi begin? All that today on Chatter Squadron.
Can't believe we got stuck in this mucus cave.
Hey guys, the exit's right over here.
Oh, over here?
Yeah.
All right, I'm coming your way.
Okay, well hurry up. We have to start the show. All right, are you guys ready?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chatter Squadron. This is Tyler Buck, sat across from Mike Calhoun and Johnny Trowbridge, as always.
Hi there.
Hey, guys, I need to change my clothes maybe before we... let's just start.
Yeah. We're a little slimy, but we'll be all right.
Welcome to another episode of Chatter Squadron. We're talking about two pretty major things today. We're talking about, number one, the fact that time travel apparently now exists in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And number two, during the discussion period, we're going to be talking about the origins of the Jedi. If you ever wondered where that civilization, that's not the right word, that order, thank you, the organization, that's what I was trying to think of, came from, well, we're going to tell you all about it, and the fact,
whether you like it or not.
The fact that, yeah. Well,
we're going to tell you all about it.
They could not listen.
Sit down and listen, son.
Yeah, you're our children.
Sit down, kids.
Sit down, kids. We need to tell you about the fact that we were stuck in a mucus cave since the last episode. So, like I said before, what do you guys think about this time travel thing?
I think you already know how I feel about it a little bit, but
yeah, you gave us a synopsis, but for those who the listeners that aren't fully aware,
I think
well,
traditionally,
let me give
He's going to give a brief overview.
The overview is it came from the last episode of Rebels, not the Rebels. I feel like a old person at the Rebels show.
The Star Wars, the Rebels,
the Star Wars,
the season one,
the episode, the one. Anyway, apparently the last episode's coming out. The next one is the last episode. So this was the
penultimate.
Yes, this was the precursor to that. And in it, Ezra, the main character, spoiler alert, FYI, everybody. Ezra goes through a portal. Basically, he becomes part of the Force, and he's being shown it by, I think they're called a condor or something like that. It's a Force-sensitive, like, bird. Like
a condor is a bird, so maybe.
So yeah, it's a bird.
So it shows him a scene, and the scene is when Ahsoka is fighting Darth Vader in one of the season finales prior, and Ahsoka stabs her lightsabers into the ground, makes Darth Vader fall through the cracks, and she's about to, and then Ezra reaches through the portal and grabs her out. And this is 2 years prior that he does this. So apparently Ahsoka and Ezra talk for a little bit, blah, blah, blah. They go their separate ways, and then Ahsoka goes through a portal basically to where she was before and goes into a cave, and we don't know what that is. But I'll start off with what I'm going to say is that it kind of makes sense because it's one of those things of he didn't change history, he was a part of history. Because if you watch that episode when she supposedly died, it was up in the air. Towards the end of the episode, you see someone walking into a cave, basically, and I always just saw that as Ahsoka, so I was like, oh, she's just alive. But that being said, it sort of means, oh, well, she was always survived the thing.
There's different versions of time travel in media, but this is not Back to the Future type where you can change things. From what I can see,
right? I
don't know. But if what you're saying is true, then it's more like the Looper kind of time travel where it's always going to happen, and you're just enacting the thing that's already going to happen, which is nice and neat from a storytelling point of view. But it doesn't. If time travel is real, that's not how it would work. But if any of this was real, that's not how it would work.
A lot of people could argue about that for a long time.
Good point. But traditionally people see time travel as lazy, so lazy story writing. So I don't know if this is really an example of that.
Yeah.
Does kind of seem like a Deus Ex Machina, like, oh, she was gonna die, and then he pulled her out of a portal from the time. It kind of seems like.
Well,
I wish that sentence was written down. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my body.
yeah, go
You go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say to the listener who doesn't know about this, apparently there has been things hinting to this inevitably happening for a while, that this portal was going to be opened up, all those type of things. Like there was hints to it through different things that you could see. So I feel like the idea of saying, oh, well, we don't want her to die, so we're just going to throw this thing in there. I think it's always been the idea that was going to happen. And I think in this last episode, I think we'll see something bigger come from it, and it not just be kind of he saved her, and that's sort of like all it was.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's what you were going to say, because that's what I was going to ask. Like, what was the framework that went into making those decisions for the story? That's all we really need to know.
Right.
And if we think it was a plan, that was going to be the story all along, then I'm sure they did it in a, I don't know, what do I want to say, respectable way.
Yeah.
Seems fine to me.
And here's another thing. Like we just said, Star Wars isn't and we've said this before on here, the whole point of Star Wars is not to be nitty gritty about the possibilities of things. Because if Star Wars really cared about time, whole time travel thing, the whole like traveling light years, like that would be all messed up, because people would be like really old when they got there, or really young.
And even like when they were having meetings like between Jedi council members, they all just so happened to be in the exact same time and place. And because gravity affects time, and oh my god.
So it's a big mess if you try to dive into it. So sometimes it's okay to just kind of let it. Whether or not this jumps a shark, though, I don't know.
No. We've seen other things, like them going to different worlds that apparently don't exist, and disappearing.
You're talking about Mortis?
Yeah. That, and what we're going to talk about later.
What we're going to talk about later, you
that
guys.
makes this look like
And that's one of those things, because people are trying to put this as a way of saying, oh well, this is just Disney ruining Star Wars again, but.
They're pulling from stuff that already
because
exists.
Jason Solo in the Legends saw time, like was able to look back in time and do those type of things as well. So it's, I don't know.
But can you look back in time and beat the Yuzhan Vong? You can't.
Yeah,
They're impossible.
You can't beat them. They got those snakes.
Amphistaffs.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
They're coming at you with that.
Amphistaffs create it so that you can't see
time.
You can't see time.
You can't see in the past.
They're very,
you actually
very
forget
useful.
You forget lots of things. You forget your keys to your starship.
Oh man!
Because you looked at one of the Amphistaffs.
So the one thing I would think that this is doing is the Force kind of willing something to happen, letting Ezra come in, letting him do something. I feel like it was the Force basically letting it happen.
Do something. Just come in and do something.
That's a weird thing that I've kind of seen evolving the more we talk about this, is like the Force, like how they view it, it's kind of its own entity and kind of does whatever it wants. It's not like a thing you can manipulate or use. It uses you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of...
in like the grand scheme of things, yeah.
Yeah, like it made Anakin. I was like always weirded out by that when I think about it. But it was just like, I want to make a human being, and then it did it. And then that's weird.
Well, I think it's just the idea of fate. I think the Force is kind of fate.
Yeah, like luck.
Right.
Things that happen.
I thought it was midichlorians in your bloodstream.
Well, that too. I always saw midichlorians as just being like, I don't even know. I never put thought into it.
I always imagine them looking like mitochondria because
The powerhouse of the cell.
I thought the words were similar when I heard them in episode 1. Because how old would I have been? I would have been like 8 years old.
Yeah.
I always just visualize them as looking like little Liam Neeson heads.
Yeah, that's right.
Floating through your bloodstream.
You got a lot of neonians.
Just see it right
Neonians. Now that would be the name of it if George came up with that.
Neonian.
Well, let's name it after Liam. How about Liam's? There we go. And then 10 months later, here's Liam Neeson saying that word on screen.
God.
Well, he has a very high Liam count.
Liam count.
It just changed.
George.
It just changes every time they say it to something different. Neums.
Oh, God.
They just start shaking their head and going, ugh. When they have to say it.
When that first came out, I thought I really liked it because I was like, "Oh my God, it's like scientific." And then the more I thought about it, I was like, "That's kind of dumb."
It's so dumb. I didn't even pay attention to it because, like I said, I was so young. I didn't care.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what that means.
To be honest, that's kind of how I feel about this time travel thing. I don't think it's going to
I don't think it's going to
matter too much. No.
Like if there was a lot of press coverage around those Mortis episodes of the Clone Wars, this is what it would be like. You know what I mean? People would be like, this changes everything forever. Like, it really doesn't.
Right. We were actually talking, Johnny and I were talking about the Mortis thing over breakfast this morning about the fact of they kind of made it open-ended when they woke up, quote unquote, and it like, they don't remember it at all. So it kind of scrubbed it. It felt more like a thing,
dream or something.
A dream, but it felt like more of a thing for the fans to understand how the Force works. That's all it really felt like to me.
Yeah. It could have been filler.
Right.
It could have been filler, and it did feel, at moments it had feelings of filler, but the animation was good.
And the fact that I kind of think that it might have been just the Force, like we were talking about the Force kind of knowing things, kind of presenting them with scenarios in their heads.
Right.
Because like...
maybe that was just a made up...
Right, because Anakin sees himself as Vader.
Yeah.
Ahsoka sees herself as an adult. Obi-Wan, doesn't he talk to Qui-Gon?
He talks to Qui-Gon, yeah.
So I almost see it as them going through this journey that might not have even happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was just the Force kind of being like, this is what's going on, and presenting that to them.
Maybe trying to figure out how they would act, and then when it was like, things didn't go as I had hoped if I had showed them the future, so I'm going to wipe it clean and hope it doesn't happen.
Right.
That would explain why the clones couldn't find it, though, because it was like only things that Force-sensitive people could.
Yeah.
But they did end up finding it in that they came back and they were just in the same place.
Yeah.
They looked out the window and they were
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, the Force is weird.
Yeah. It is. It's very weird.
It's weird.
That's not how the Force works.
Although more I think about it, I was like, Han Solo, how do you know how the Force works?
I like to give the Force credit for things that happen to me, whereas, things that I don't care to know. Like how do the podcasts I subscribe to show up in my app on time and when I want them to.
Yeah.
And organize themselves. Who cares? It's the Force.
Right. It's just the Force. Exactly. And then just so you guys know, when you go and you rate us 5 stars on iTunes and give us a good review, it's just the Force.
It's
Yeah.
the
The Force is flowing
Just
through
that
you.
little bit of the Force, it's just like you get to have.
I like
for yourselves.
If you could see Calhoun's
You're
face
welcome.
right now, he looks like he had just had a little bit too many death sticks. He's like, he's like the
It's
Force,
just lemonade, man. That's tasty lemonade.
The Force, man.
I'm
It's
having
just-
some blue lemonade in support of Star Wars.
Yeah, it's lemonade mixed with bantha milk.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Anyway, so this whole thing, okay, here, I'll put it out there. I understand why people would be like, "Whoa, what?"
Agreed.
But at the same time, I don't want to say
What's it gonna do?
that I don't let it affect me as much because it's a fake thing. But at the same time, I understand. I understand it. I think,
But it's not going. I don't think it's going to harm that show, let alone the series.
I think it's insular. I think it's supposed to be like, oh, this is contained within this one area,
Right.
in this one time.
And I'm because when we're recording this, we don't know what the last episode does. It might be the fact that whole series, that whole show was for this thing.
Maybe.
Because the last episode might be like, now that this happened, so did this and whatever, blah, 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 blah. That might be what it was leading to the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. You know what? I don't know.
You know what it might, though?
No one
It
knows.
might. It is going to open up some fan theories for mixed universes now, which we probably don't need.
Nope, don't do it.
No.
Don't even go down that trail.
No need for that.
I mean, I do like a good Bizarro World story.
I know of good, like those are fun to think about.
Right.
The
And
Sith
sometimes
are Jedi, and the Jedi are Sith.
Oh, who is this that just came in? Sir, what is your name?
My name's Smiggles McBittlesworth.
Smiggles McBittlesworth.
That's right. I just said that.
Do you just go around saying the opposite of things?
No, yes, I do.
I don't. Smiddles McBittleworth, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Episode 1, of course.
Oh, Smiddles McBittlesworth.
Schmeckles McButterworth, what's your favorite character from episode 1?
I really like Watto. He seems so reserved.
Oh,
Watto. That's a good choice. He's my favorite too.
wait a second. Really reserved. Wait, what does Anakin do in episode 3 that you've seen, Smiddles?
Well, doesn't he just go to the desert and cry?
Oh, yeah. No, not in our universe. That's not what we saw.
Well, you got the wrong movie.
Hey, Skittles McButtersworth.
You messed up my name, man.
What color lightsabers do the Jedi have in the Bizarro universe?
Well, they have red, of course. Just
They-
different shades of red.
I have a question.
Brick red, red, and pink.
I would love to see a pink lightsaber for sure. But I do have another question. Are you just switching the names, Sith and Jedi, if literally nothing changes except who is on whose side?
Listen, kid.
Hey, Shuttles McShuttleworth, what's your favorite Sith that you see? What's his name?
Oh, my favorite Sith is Darth Yoda.
Darth Yoda.
Darth
Wow.
Yoda. Wow. What does he look
What a
like?
great guy.
He's great? Is he a
Yeah,
cool
he's
guy?
a Sith.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He's your favorite. Ugh,
He's just got those dimples.
dimple.
Those dimples on that human face.
How big are his ears?
Regular size.
Oh, okay.
Well,
How
Friddles.
big are your ears?
Well, Friddles McHeddlehearth. It was very nice to meet you, but we have to go back to our normal show. We have a quiz
All
we're
right, I'll
coming
just
up
go
to.
back into this teapot.
All right. Goodbye, Shonen McWaffle Iron. Wow.
Whoa.
He just fit right in there like a breeze.
Like a Aladdin genie.
He
Like a-
folded himself up like a clean shirt on a Sunday,
like a cricket
Like
in a coffin.
Like an origami man.
like a General Leia
Sow's
Organa,
chicken. No.
Like a feather pillow in a water bottle.
like a toxic waste in a bin.
Like food coloring in a pool.
Hey, Johnny, didn't you say you had a quiz?
Yeah, I do have a quiz.
Oh, thank goodness.
This is a returning backed by just regular demand, not popular demand.
Oh, okay.
yeah, just supply and demand.
By supply and demand.
Back by supply and demand.
All right, say it with me.
It's French fries.
main course or uses force. All right, so
I can't wait for this. So, yeah, to tie in with the origin of the Jedi, here we go. Main course or uses the Force.
If you guys don't remember or never watched it, shame on you. Go watch that or listen or whatever you do.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
from episode something or other.
if you have synesthesia, then go ahead and watch our radio program.
If you have a very strong imagination and can visualize everything we do.
Yes. Basically, the premise of this quiz is I will read to you a name or a dish from some part of the world, and you have to tell me which it is. And then there's 10 questions. Each you get 5, and then there's a final question where 3 of them are dishes, and 1 of them is a Jedi. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
Okay.
Wait. I'm ready.
Okay, who's going first?
I'm going first this time.
Okay. That's fine with me. Your word or name or whatever you want to say is Omobori. Omobori.
Omabori. Main course or uses the Force? We're going to say Omabori is a main course.
That is incorrect.
Hey.
It was a male wool Kabasite Jedi Master.
Kabasi.
Kilbasi.
Serving the Jedi Order and Galactic Republic. During his tenure in the Order, he sat on the Jedi High Council. So he's a High Council guy. All right. Tyler. Gigantus Plaki.
Sorry, we're all getting hit with an Amber Alert. So hopefully,
Yeah, I'm getting hit with it. Okay.
that gets. Hopefully that gets found.
Yeah, hopefully that is resolved.
All right. By the time this comes out. All right. So what were you saying?
Gigantus Plaki.
Gigantus Plaki. If this is a course, this has to be gigantic. Gigantus Plaki. Plaki?
Plaki.
It's a main course.
It is main course.
Hey.
It is. It's Greek. It is for giant baked beans.
Oh,
How giant can you get?
Gigantus comes from the Greek word for giants.
What is it, like the size of your fist?
I was gonna say, is it the size of like?
They're like really big, like kidney beans.
I was seeing it as like a steak. Like you could ask how cooked through you want it to be.
I'd like the gigantus version.
You just slice through it with a knife and a fork.
I like to imagine like you cut into a bean and you get like a ham bone of bean.
Oh,
and
no.
There's like a
I hate the bone in my beans. All right,
I don't like the bone and beans. You know me.
Calhoun.
okay, it's like the size of an opossum. A huge bean.
Ty Voka.
Ty Voka.
Well, now I know what my Star Wars name will be if I.
Gigantus Plaki.
No, Ty Voka.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you're right. I will say uses the Force.
Yes, correct. He was a Wookiee Jedi Master who served the Galactic Republic during the classic era. You know, back when there was Cokes and they had the 90s diner.
That's when
50s.
That's when Dax's Diner started,
That's
right?
when-
That's
when
the
that
classic era, and that's when Star Wars. That's when they got their first comic books.
Yeah. That's the
universe.
Republic classic.
Back when they used to go to the soda fountain.
yeah.
Soap fountain.
out
Yep.
in the outskirts of a
Yeah.
different planet.
On the
They
outskirts.
drive their convertible there.
No, they drive their Harley there.
With
Yeah. They got their greaser hair.
with their arm around their lady.
yeah, their
On a motorcycle? Yeah.
Yeah, sidecar. All right, what's my one?
Yours is Korabaya.
That is a main course.
That it is. It is a shortbread type biscuit originating from Tabriz.
I was
or
hoping-
Tabriz.
I was
It's
hop-
made from ground almonds.
Tabriz.
Tabriz.
I was hoping all of mine had to do with beans.
Just all beans.
exclusively bean material.
All right, Calhoun.
Yep.
Mashuni.
Uses the Force.
No.
No.
As a typical Maldivian breakfast composed of tuna, onion, coconut, chili. They're all chopped up and put in meat of a coconut.
Oh.
I'm gonna need this list afterwards so I can make that.
I will say that before we started recording, I called that I would get all of them correct. And
I
actually,
I would get one.
Mike said he would get one.
So, he's got one so far. So.
yeah, it's all
I'm on
downhill from
track.
here.
Yeah.
All right. Tyler.
Yes.
Gajar Kahalwa.
Uses the Force.
No.
Oh, didn't
The
keep your
Force
promise.
was not with me.
It is a carrot-based sweet dessert pudding from the Indian subcontinent.
Wow.
All right.
Carrot based. Okay.
It's a carrot-based pudding. That sounds pretty gross, but
Yeah,
whatever.
It does. It sounds like baby food.
Yep,
I want
probably.
my baby food.
Yes.
Baby food.
No, I'm just gonna eat baby.
Oh, God. All right, Calhoun.
Yes.
Veal.
Simicardi.
Simicardi. You drop your phone and out pops your Simicardi. Simicardi is gonna be a main course.
No.
Dang it!
This is actually a pretty important Jedi.
So awful.
She had an extremely influential set of rules about the Jedi Code. She is the one who introduced how many apprentices you should have, meaning one.
So many
And
digits to choose from. How did she settle?
she set a date where they couldn't become Padawans anymore if they were too old. So she was the one who came up with that.
May 1st.
May 1st.
Sounds like a freaking buzz.
After that, no.
Sounds kind of like a buzzkill. if you
Yeah,
ask
she
me.
kind of
She does. She sounds like a bureaucrat.
Yep. All right, Tyler.
Hey,
She's the Margaret Thatcher of Jedi.
Is she the one that also limited Jedi's lightsaber colors to only be red?
Yes.
Shades of red.
Shades of red.
As
I don't know what you're talking
Shingles
about.
feels a lot.
I want a
better.
white one.
I don't know who that is. All right, Tyler.
Hey,
Dal Makhani.
that is a Jedi.
No, it's not. Gosh darn it. That is a popular dish from the Punjab region of the Indian subcontinent. It is made of black lentil, red kidney beans again,
Hey.
butter, and cream.
That actually sounds
Pretty
good.
straightforward.
pretty-
I don't know. I'm
like
sure
a-
they put a lot of spices in it.
And
Sounds like
I'm
a
sure they
soup.
prepare it a little bit more because every time you say an ingredient, I just see it as you just
Raw.
stacking each thing on top of it, just being like, "This is it. This is subdubu
That's true.
jiggy."
I subdued. That was one of the ones.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Hey, I remember everything.
I don't think that's true. All right. Go ahead. Masala dosa.
Masala dosa. I'm going to get all of these wrong, and I'm going to fulfill the prophecy. Masala dosa,
Yes.
main course.
It is correct.
Yes, I did.
The curse is broken.
Yes, yes.
It's like a sort of a taco from the Tuvalu. I guess they serve it in hotels all over India.
Oh, everything you just said it sounded like you were talking from the Star Wars universe.
I know.
Some sort of a taco from the Tuvalu system.
All right, Tyler.
Individual systems have
Well,
their own talk.
Mike and I are tied now. So.
Yeah, 2-2. So we got to do our last round.
All right. No, he has one more question.
Yeah.
Oh, oops.
Lacro.
That is main course.
Correct.
Oh, no.
All right. The final question is worth 3 points. so.
Okay, final question.
That is a hearty stew, popular
with
in
beans.
Let me see if it actually has beans in it. Oh, it does.
Yes.
Popular among the Andes mountain range. So this is like Chile and Argentina and all that. It is corn, beans, potato, or pumpkin soup.
Bean exclusive.
All right, this is the final question. We're 3 points, and you will get 3 of them are dishes, and one of them is the Jedi. You're gonna go ahead and write down just as close as you can which one you think is the Jedi.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Silgal, Kokadas, Pauline Intungruin, Fracandel. Fracandel. You want me to read it one more time?
Yes.
Silgal, Kokadas, Pauline Intungruin, or Groen, and Fricandel.
What was the first one? One more time.
I'll just do them all again.
Okay.
Silgal, Kokadas, Pauline Intungruin, Fricandel. All right, so let's see.
There
what
you go. There's mine.
Okay. Okay, you both got it right.
Really?
Yes.
Tyler wins.
Silgal.
Silgal was a female Mon Calamari Jedi Master who lived during the New Jedi Order. So this is during Luke Skywalker. The Cocadas is a coconut candy in Latin America. And Pauline Int Gruen is a Flemish dish. It's made of freshwater eel. And frikandel is a Dutch snack that is minced meat hot dog.
The
Yum.
the eel
yum.
one, it sounded too close to Gruten, which is a type of species in Star Wars. So that's why I was like, is that it? Maybe I don't know. Well, hey, I win again. I don't know if you've ever beaten me, Calhoun.
I don't think so. This was the closest one for sure.
This
Yeah.
is the closest. You did a good job.
Is there any bonus question?
I don't have a bonus question.
Okay, just seeing if
The bonus question is, when are you gonna get out of here, you
Oh,
goon?
man.
Oh my gosh. Who is this man that just hit
Hey, it's me. I was just cleaning up outside the studio, and I heard you guys chattering over here.
Oh, this is our
Chit chat chattering. That's what we do.
this is our janitor, Ron Filter.
Filter more.
Ron Filtermore.
Thank you. You
Oh,
got it
right.
right. You almost had it.
From the Filtermore family.
Yeah. That's my dad.
Heir to
that
the
English?
Filtermore.
Is that English? Filtermore? Is that?
I don't know.
Ron,
I'm just from Brooklyn.
Ron, have you ever seen a Star Wars movie?
What?
Have you ever seen a Star Wars movie?
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah,
All of them?
which one is your favorite?
Oh, I don't know. I just always see them at the waiting rooms at the hospital or something like
Yep,
that. They
yep.
usually got them on.
Every
I don't-
hospital.
I can't ever tell them apart. I just see lasers and I go, oh look, the Star Wars on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that could be something else too.
What do you mean?
There's lasers and other things.
yeah, there's lasers in several things, Ron.
What? That's crazy. They got laser beam movies all over the place now.
Yeah.
I guess so.
You know, once they came out with laser discs, they had to keep up.
Oh, I remember having a laser disc.
Yeah?
Yeah, it broke when I tipped it over, and because I was trying to come in the door with a big couch. My ma didn't want the new couch, and I told her I could fit it in, and it fit fine. It's just
Yeah.
she had this laser disc thing, and it tipped over, and it burned a hole in the wall. It was crazy.
Let
Those
out
things
all
are
the laser.
way too powerful.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's how I imagine it.
Well, we're about to go to a break, Ron, but what's your favorite movie just in general then?
Oh, my favorite movie of all time.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it the Tooth Fairy with Dwayne Johnson?
Or is it The Tooth Fairy with Larry the Cable Guy?
I gotta say it's the Tooth Fairy, but just this one that I saw on TV one time.
Yeah.
that had Kevin James.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Maybe it was different. I don't know. He's from New York. I like those New York pudgy boys.
Yeah.
Are you from New York, Ron?
Yeah.
Brooklyn? He said-
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. I told you guys that.
Brooklyn. Oh, what brought you out to Cleveland?
Oh, I work for you guys. Don't you know?
Oh,
that?
yeah, that's right.
Oh,
we had
that's
to
right.
relocate you because we had to get the
Yeah,
greatest
yeah. I
janitor.
usually just go through Mike, but he wasn't. He doesn't look like he's here.
No. Mike usually steps out between sentences in the show.
After he loses.
He needs to,
at
yeah.
the
After
quiz.
he loses, he needs to take a quick break to cool down. If you listen faintly, you can hear him throwing things. He gets violent after a
Oh, well,
loss.
that's probably something I got to go clean up. So I'll head out now. You guys can
Oh.
go take your break or whatever. Break things.
That's a good point. Well, while Ron leaves and Calhoun lets off that steam, we'll be right back. And once again, be sure to help out our great sponsor, stormtrooperaday.com. Hey everyone, are you looking for Star Wars stuff? Of course you are. That's a rhetorical question. I know these guys are. Johnny, are you looking for Star Wars stuff?
Dude, I'm always looking everywhere.
I think Calhoun is still looking for Star Wars stuff. Calhoun, get over here.
That's why I got these binoculars to look for Star Wars.
You don't have to look
stuff.
that far.
Yeah, you don't have to look that far. You just go to a stormtrooperaday.com. They have all kinds of Star Wars stuff. You can get off of that crow's nest you're looking for land on.
All right, cool. I'll come down now and join you guys.
All right, thank you.
And while he's climbing down, we can talk about the fact that they have keychains, phone cases, t-shirts. They even have some crazy stuff like a decanter and a music box. Anything you really need Star Wars wise.
I heard
we
you guys
do-
talking about decanters while I was on my way down. I'm really thirsty. Could I get one of those on the Star Wars a stormtrooperaday.com?
Yeah, and you can even fill it with some orange juice because you might be having scurvy symptoms.
I think that's what I'm having.
So if you want to go there, check out all that stuff. Make sure if you're going to order anything, put the promo code chatter in, and guess what? You get 10% off for being a listener of us.
10%.
Yeah.
That's like taking your total and multiplying by 0.1.
That is, yeah, that's almost exactly it.
And then you remove that from the total of the price?
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
ridiculous.
gosh. I love math.
Yeah, you can do that math right before you make the order, so you know exactly what you're getting. That's 10% off by using the promo code chatter.
What sort of things can we get 10% off though? Can we do t-shirts?
You can do t-shirts.
What about like keychains?
You can do keychains.
What about like music boxes?
Dude, you could even do a music box.
Wow.
That's right.
I've run out of things to list.
There's all kinds of things that you can buy off of a stormtrooperaday.com. I'm personally eyeing up a shirt that says disobey with Finn's bloody helmet on the front.
I've seen it, and it's really cool.
I would wear it every day until it literally falls off from wear and tear.
Yeah, you do that with most of your clothes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's right. Go to a stormtrooperaday.com or check them out on Instagram at a stormtrooperaday and let them know we sent you. And remember, promo code chatter, 10% off. Let's get back to the show.
What's the transfer rate between credits and dollars?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chatter Squadron. We're looking up the transfer rate between Republic credits and dollars. Riveting audio content for you. Calhoun is back from his room. I don't know what he was doing. It sounded like he was moving a couch in for his ma.
Oh, I wasn't doing that.
No?
I have a couch.
Oh, yeah. I was just on it. It's very comfy.
Good. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're happy with it. No, I was just, throwing stuff around, making myself look busy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know how it is. When I'm at work and somebody walks by, I just start throwing stuff.
Yeah. I just didn't want you guys to ask what I was doing or be like, "Hey, are you busy?" Because I just didn't want to do any work.
That is a great way to make sure people don't talk to you if you just start throwing things.
Yeah.
The minute you see someone.
And I've decided that if I ever get into a physical altercation with another human being, I'm just going to strip naked.
Okay.
Because
And then-
think they'll not want to engage in a
What
fight
are you going to
with me.
throw around then?
Well, I'm not going to throw anything in that case. I was just going to be...
You're going to throw caution to the wind.
Yeah.
Some might say.
That's for sure.
Johnny, how is that analysis you're doing?
Man, it is not easy to find.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about
Jedi?
the divine origins of Jedi.
Well, I don't know if I can because I just don't know how much credits are in dollars, in dollar form. So it may be a lost cause at this point. We may just end the episode here.
It might be difficult to find an expert on that field considering one is a fake currency.
Okay. There's a thing on it.
We got to ask.
They said it's pretty close to a 1-1.
Wow.
1.1?
What a lead up.
I know, sorry.
Wait, well, you said 1.1?
1-1.
So
That
one
can't be right though, because
one credit is $1.
a couple billion credits can get you a Star Destroyer. It seems a little wrong.
Maybe it's a stronger dollar.
Well, some of the people in our world, billionaires in our world, I could see purchasing a Star Destroyer.
I don't think it would cost a
Way
couple
more
billion. I think it would cost much, much more.
Maybe it's really easy to make.
You know what? You're right.
Maybe
We
they
didn't
just-
factor in how easy they are to make.
Maybe it's just like a cookie cutter and they just go...
Yeah, you just
and
go-
it just fits together.
Walk on down to Walgreens and get yourself a discount Star Destroyer.
There you go.
Well, the mold, you
Yeah,
have to get
yeah.
flour
Yeah,
and other things.
Jell-O.
Yeah. Oh, so a Jell-O mold. So a big green shaking thing flying through
mold.
the air.
Several kilometers long.
Oh, there goes one right now.
All I have to do it. See, that's actually a good idea because you shoot it. If you ram into it, it's just going to disperse throughout the whole thing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's like
Super smart. I don't know why they didn't
it
make
takes
everything out of Jell-O.
devastating damage and no damage at the exact same time because it's made of Jell-O.
Good
Okay,
idea.
Okay.
Hey, guys, have you ever wanted to know about the Star Wars universe's origins of the Jedi?
Bro, are you hitting those death sticks?
Sorry, pass the stick, bro.
I
Anyway,
think those kill you.
can we talk about for a second the idea that they named it Death Stick?
Yes. Let's
Well,
talk
that's what I
about
call
it.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But cigarettes aren't drugs. They're not addictive drugs.
they are addictive.
Or they are addictive, but they're
And
not.
nicotine's a drug. What are you trying to tell me? kid.
You know what? You sound
it's-
like one
okay.
of those lobbyists.
Yeah, nicotine isn't a drug.
Then it's not a recreation.
You and the tobacco company could go backwards.
Yeah, I do have to choose my words wisely. So yes, it is addictive, and yes, it is a drug, but it's not.
It's not an addictive
But it's not
drug.
something that you can
It's not.
abuse for different like brain states, which is what
I
the
see.
death sticks were doing. Which is my point. That's
Yeah,
the
the
analogy I
brain
was
the
making.
brain states you get is from like just okay. Let's get away from this. Oh my
Death
lord, what
sticks.
the heck did we just get into? We're about to get so
maybe
many
the early
em-
Jedi did some.
We're about to get so many emails. Well, actually, anyway, okay. So, hey, the Jedi Order. So, what we're going to be talking about is legends, but also kind of how it fits in with canon. Because what canon basically is right now is just like because they made the first Jedi Temple.
Is on Octu.
Octu.
It's like 5,000 years before.
So that's basically the only thing that they have canon wise back that far.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into legends, but because of that, we've seen a lot recently of legends becoming canon or kind of influencing. So maybe if you listen to this or share it to somebody else to kind of give them an in-depth like review of what the beginning stages were, we could kind of see what's to come as time goes on. Maybe even if Ryan Johnson or the Game of Thrones guys, they go way back in time, you know, we might be able to see some of these things come to fruition. Hopefully not, but we'll get into that in a second. Go ahead, Johnny.
No, I was just laughing at though you're.
Okay. Well, approximately the Jedi Order started 36,453 BBY. So
I don't know why they picked a single date. They're just like, that's the date.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, yeah, it's very specific. 453.
Yeah.
Super specific. It was around that time that these giant pyramid-esque shaped ships started going through the galaxy. So apparently these things were called Thoyor, Thoyor.
And they're all over the place. Okay, there was one on Ryloth.
Well, there were 8.
There were 8.
Right.
There was one on Ryloth that was buried in the sand. There was one underneath an ocean on Manon.
Right.
And they were all over the place.
They were all over the page. Go ahead, Calvin.
They're pyramid shaped as well, which is
Right.
to
Well, they're kind of
tie
like-
into kind of our ancient history.
Yeah, and they're kind of like diamonds in a way because like diamonds on a playing card because it's 2 pyramids, whatever. I don't know. What would the shape of that be called? I feel like there's a shape.
There's a name for it. I don't know. It's
Whatever.
two
Depending on how many sides,
It's
which is
2 triangular prisms on top of each other.
there you go.
yeah, so it's an 8-sided object of some sort.
And there were 8.
Yes.
There were 8 of them, and basically people would pray over these things leading up to this because they knew that something was going to happen with them. And then one day, one of them just opened up and said, "Come on in."
Yeah, it was like telepathically communicating with people
Right.
who were force sensitive, and it was like, "Get on in." And they were like, "Okay."
So they go
Yeah.
in, and these pyramids just raise up and start flying through the galaxy. Apparently, being able to traverse like black holes and whatnot to go around the galaxy.
They're basically the school buses.
The magic school bus.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, this was if school took hundreds of thousands of years to get started, it was getting these people to the Jedi Temple. It just took a little while.
I don't know how much you guys spent, how much time you guys spent looking up images, but I didn't see a scale of what these ships looked like.
They're gigantic.
Okay.
They're apparently
people.
quite large.
For some reason, I thought it would hold like 10 people.
It said I looked that up and it said it could hold thousands of people.
Wow.
Which is great because if you guys remember our ships episode, which you can go back and watch, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The ships episode was one of those ones I was like, okay, we'll do one on ships. And it turned out to be very fun.
Yeah.
But if you remember from that, Wikipedia likes to like this, the approximate thing being so specific. They like to give specifics. Like this can't just hold 100 people. It can hold 104 people or whatever.
Yeah.
That where that entry was for these, it just said thousands.
Yeah.
It can hold thousands.
Thousands of them.
Is it 1,000 or is it 500,000. Thousands is it?
All you know is that it went and picked up like a ton of these people from each race.
Yeah, so it was okay. It was like the Ark. Let's be honest.
like
with
the
it.
Ark.
It's like the Ark.
Except instead of 2, you get like 2,000.
Yeah, you get instead of 2, you get just thousands. They picked up, and some of these I'm not well versed in. They picked up Wookiees, Selkath, Twi'leks, Miralukas, Iktachi, Cathars, Deveronians,
Ooh, Deveronians.
Nagris, Sith, Talids, Zebrox, Milorila, humans, Celestins, and Krivaki.
Krivaki are just the people with the twisty heads.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misspoke. It's Twisty Head McGee's.
Picked up Benedict Cumberbatches, Mariska Hargitay's.
There you go.
A couple of those.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
There you go.
Some Cabbage Patch.
Benjamin Buttons.
Ben and Jerry.
Ben and Jerry.
Ben Affleck. Okay. So basically, here was something too. We really researched this, and they might be out there, but there's no origin of these things. They were just there.
They like had always existed.
Yep, they're just there.
Kind of like the Reapers.
Yes. If anyone's familiar with the Mass Effect, like
If you're not, I'm sure as often as we talk about it on the show, you know the entire history of Mass Effect.
Anyway, so Mass Effect, they have these things called Reapers that are just all over the place, they're out in deep space, but they come back every once in a while, and evidence of previous cycles are everywhere.
Right.
So this is like, these things have always been around, and they're ancient, and no one knows what they do. And then every once in a while, every cycle, they come back and gather up everyone.
Here's the thing, though. It is totally believable that they could have been there before, because we're only going back 36,000 years.
Right.
True.
I mean, in our measly planet, we can do some archaeological digs and find stuff from like 50,000 years.
And something too, the unknown regions is still something that we don't know about, and the Galactic Empire, most recent for us, didn't know about the unknown regions. So who even knows if there's even more advanced people off in those? Anyway, so it converged on a singular colossal ship, one of the pyramids on Tython. So this is where the Jedi Order, which was spelled G-E,
J-E.
J-E, sorry, apostrophe D-A-I-I, Jedi. And that's where this order started, the beginnings of learning the Force.
Yeah, they just dumped a bunch of Force-sensitive people on a planet that was constantly surrounded by Force storms, which are just like manifestations of the Force.
Yeah.
So it was like a super Force-charged planet, and they just dumped them all there. And it's like, all right. It did spread out, all 8 of them, or 9 of them, because there was the giant one.
The one on Tython.
There's one on Tython, or above Tython, that was like a huge, it was bigger than all of the other ones.
So sort of like, man, what is that thing called on Destiny?
The Visitor, or something like that?
Yeah, it was called The Visitor.
Yeah.
I never played that game, but yeah, that's what it's called.
I don't think it's called that, but whatever.
Anyway,
Who knows?
it's a giant orb that's in Destiny. Anyway,
Yeah.
so the Traveler, that's what it was.
Traveler, yes.
But so the 8 of the pyramids, or I'll just call
Yours.
they just go throughout the planet, all over the planet, different continents that have different like themes of the Force. Which that was a bit of an eye roll moment. They like each got different themes, and then landed on those places, or it floated above them.
It sounds like an amusement park.
Yes, it was like that.
Welcome to this land, this continent.
It was like that, but yeah, they each did different things.
Welcome to the Force push continent, and that people were just pushing stuff all the time. Hey, pass that to me. Whoa. Hey, how about this? Whoa.
Yeah.
The continent is just consistently moving around the ocean
God.
of Tython.
I know you're making a joke, but I think that was like one of the things they were talking about.
Are you serious?
One of the things was like it was in a mountain range that always had earthquakes, and they were like trained in martial arts and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah, I did read about that as well.
Yeah.
What did you guys read about the name Jedi?
I did.
Excuse me, Jedi.
The Jed was like I forget what they exactly. One of them was like Order or something.
Yeah, I actually, well, I don't have it up right now, but I can find it very quickly. This specific thing that I read.
Okay. So while you're looking up that, I do want to say that the moons, and I do like this idea a lot of the moons, kind of symbolizing the light side and the dark side of the Force. So they had two moons, Ashla, which is a moon always covered in light.
Yeah.
Basically, it just revolved in such a way that it always had sunlight on it. And then Bogan was the dark moon that was always shrouded in darkness. And so they called the light side of the Force Ashla, and they called the dark side Bogan, which we just kind of call it the dark side and the light side. But they had those specific names for it. And I do want to point something out. If you, there's a cool little Easter egg if you listen or read the Ahsoka book. The alias she gives herself is Ashla.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, she doesn't go by Ahsoka, so she'll tell people, oh, my name's Ashla. So it's kind of a little throwback.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wink, wink, nudge,
stab,
nudge.
stab.
I'm a moon.
Yes.
All right. Did you find the
Yeah,
origin?
I did. The word Dai, D-A-I-I, is derived from Dai Bendu, which is a term that means mystic center.
Which is the balance of the Force.
Exactly. They all you read about that, I'm
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of that gathering was to understand the Force and its concentration and the dark and the light and all that stuff.
And so
they would refer to themselves as the mystic centers.
Right. So, keeping that in mind, you had Ashla, the light side, Bogan, the dark side, and Bendu, the center. And that was what the first Jedi Order was all about, was the center. Yeah. And we even saw that if somebody, say they were pushing too close to the dark side, they would send them to Ashla, the light moon, and they would have them meditate there to bring them back from the dark side closer to the light. So they would basically exile people to moons
until they became a theme,
right? Until they were good enough and centered enough to come back.
Same thing for the other way. Like if they were too much on the light side, they would send them to Bogan, and then they would like come back once they were centered.
So it is a very different thing that we've seen, because the light side of the Force was viewed just as bad as the dark side.
Right.
They just wanted the center, and to be honest, it was like we were talking, it seemed very magical, like a very magical world filled with the Force, and all these people learned about the Force. And
we were talking about how it would make a great RPG game, because you just get to go to all the different pyramids.
Right.
And
learn all the different styles and things.
And then you get exiled to one of the moons, depending on what your choices were. Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Right.
A lot of different things to explore.
And we were even talking about how that would make it like Elder Scrolls, or
it would be
like Fallout or something like that, like centered on one planet.
Landscapes.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
That'd be sweet.
Cool.
And if they did something like this, it would make a great thing for people who made Game of Thrones to be able to cover.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That
Like
would
the
be sweet.
very beginnings, and people stabbing people in the back because they got too close to Bendu and all that type of thing.
Yes, that would be cool. Oh, just a side note, the Bendu symbol basically looks like the Republic symbol. Just so you know.
Oh.
It's 8 spokes, I think, on a circle with 8 spokes.
They use that on a lot of the Jedi Order, the early Jedi Order stuff.
Yep.
So like we said, they had the 2 moons, and there was a bunch of temples constructed on Tython
Around
around where the Though Yours settled, basically. And once again, this is my reminder. This is Legends at this point.
Yes.
So don't go thinking that this is, what you'll see or what you'll hear. It's Legends. And we said as well, members that strayed too far to one side were exiled to either Bogan or Ashla to balance them. And they eventually sent non-force sensitives off the world.
Okay, yeah. This is like what happened was they started
Sort of like
breeding.
muggles.
Yes. They basically started breeding, and then they found out some of the kids weren't force sensitive, and they're like, "Oh shoot, what do we do?" And then they were like, "Oh well, apparently what was happening, like the planet reacts if there weren't enough force sensitive people, and so there were more storms happening, and apparently one of the temples got destroyed because of a force storm, and they were like, get these non-sensitive people out of here.
They
like
even
a populist thing.
They broke up families and stuff, like to send them to the moon. Imagine
witch hunt.
Imagine being sent to Bogan, the dark moon.
Right.
Like just darkness all the time.
I wonder if they get to choose.
I don't think so.
I'll take Ash.
I don't know if any of them got to choose.
Yeah, probably not.
It seems like a very elitist. We're force. We are the force.
Yeah.
If this is our ideology that you need to be balanced, and you go too close this way, you're just gone.
Question. The
Answer.
the Jedi were transported to this world, the center world, with these ships that they didn't necessarily know how to use. Maybe some...
There were some people who figured out how to use them later.
Okay. Yeah, because they do something interesting with them.
Yes.
Right. And from the images I saw some comic book panels.
Yeah.
And it looked like a lot of the races hadn't developed space travel yet.
Yeah.
So even if they did later
they
discover
did,
how to use them, that's fine. I'm mostly curious in like how quickly then the technology or the knowledge spread to the other races outside of the Jedi Order.
Oh, I don't know.
We didn't look at that.
I'm not saying you don't. You
just
had
as
to.
a question.
That's interesting to look up.
I think they were pretty self-contained because I remember it showing that eventually there were the people on the moons moved out from the moons.
That's what I was about to say. If people were transporting people to the moons, they would be the ones that were most exposed to the technology anyway. Because if you're on Bendu, why would you even leave? If you wanted to stay there, you would never leave, so you wouldn't be interested in that.
Exactly. Those people left, and there was like 8 other planets in that system, so they all went to those ones.
Right. They started to branch out.
Yes, and then I don't think they were able at that point, or maybe they were. It doesn't say, but I think it was pretty insular because there's a whole section of the history where they're like start really resenting people on Tython. Because they're like, oh, these smug people think they can just kick out whoever they want, and then they started thinking they didn't even exist because no one ever came out of there, or no one ever got to go there.
Yeah,
people were kicked out.
Because imagine that, just saying, like, if Earth, we've been around our like current history for like 200 years or so, like that window. 200 years ago, we in America didn't know anything about Britain. We never were able to see it there or go there. Yeah. Just like, oh yeah, we came over in a bunch of boats, and these smug people in Britain are doing their whole thing, and they kicked us out here. Like, that type of thing. Or maybe a better example would be Australia.
Yes.
Like people were sent to Australia, and people in Australia, and I know we have some listeners out there. Good day. We get sent here, and all the people, like, they never get to see anything else in the world. Yeah. And they just think that, like, oh, we're sent out here, and I don't know.
And then you have children because there's just people that have to stay there. And
there's
live
nothing
there.
else to do but make children.
And then and then the kids are natural born Australians.
Yes. Yeah, and they think they just keep
the
hearing.
world is Australia.
For 200 years, they hear that, and they hear that everyone else was kind of bad because they sent us out here to Australia.
Yes.
So basically what we're saying is the Jedi Order started in Australia. What are we saying?
No, but that, I think that there was some a queen at the time
Yeah.
at one of the other planets started a war with Tython. They just tried to take it over.
Right.
They just sent people there, and they did really well for a while. And then the Jedi people just destroyed them.
Before we get too far, what were we?
No, go ahead.
Before we get too far, this reminds me of kind of like the way that 2001: A Space Odyssey started, where those monoliths show up in the different stages, and they're like basically just monitoring humanity. And then the implication is that they gift these apes with intelligence. I'm kind of drawing a comparison to these ships showing up and like going to all the different civilizations and basically just like jump starting their civilization with this new discovery. I wonder why we tend to do that with our storytelling, just as human beings. It's like we can't just accept that, over time we built a civilization and we just, because that's less interesting.
It is
Right, because there's
not
like
as-
this ancient thing that just so happened to kick us into gear. Like, hey, you guys, you're doing really well, but
We have to have this.
here's
origin
this
story.
giant pyramid. Boom.
Yeah.
So around this, and we didn't look too much into it, but there was a lightsaber that comes to
Okay,
be. But we'll talk. Well, I'll
okay.
talk about that in 1 second because first the
I know
Force.
Johnny wants to get in on that.
Because first the Force Wars, I believe.
No, this is before the.
Okay, go ahead. Talk about this Jedi.
There's a guy.
Sorry.
Anyway, so there's this guy named Zesh, that's his name, and he crash landed his ship, which came out of nowhere, onto. He's not from any of the other planets.
Right.
He's a force wielder. Just showed up on their planet, and they go to the wreckage. They're like, "Dude, this guy crash landed. He killed a bunch of people apparently." And then they go there, and they're like, "What? Who are you?" And then he like. Pulls out a lightsaber or a force saber. These are like the early versions that like they had a little battery pack on the back
Yeah, like a wire.
and then a wire running to him. But he just pulls it out. He's like, well, I have a force saber. And that was where they came from. That's the first one.
Isn't that great?
Just a guy pulled one out. He's like, I have one. And then they're like, okay.
They didn't even start with swords.
Nope.
They
Well,
just went
There were swords.
they did.
I
They
know,
did
I
have
know.
sword. Okay.
I imagine in their regular evolutionary
Yeah,
cycle.
They never even came up with the idea of
There's
a
no-
sword.
They jumped from club straight to force saber.
They never.
They had a cable and a battery before they had a sword.
Yes, exactly.
Sword came much later.
Much later.
Much later. They were like, wait a second, what if we sharpen this metal that we've came up with already?
Yeah.
Like, this is a cheap like, we could cut stuff with this. It's like
That's why
scissors.
everyone's still using swords because they invented them so late. They still think they're useful.
Like scissors. We could, you know what? We could chop wood with this. Finally. Oh my
Stop
gosh.
using our force sabers.
Yeah,
for
we've
everything.
had
We've been cutting down these trees with the force.
It just sets them on fire whenever we use the
cutting
saber.
down trees with the force this whole
We
time.
could have just been chopping them down with sharp things. Man, I've been cutting my steaks with the force.
With the force.
I've been turning, doing
Our
all these
hair is so long.
things. I've been ripping it out to get shorter
I've
hair.
been taking rocks and mashing them together over my hair. So many split ends. Oh, okay. Let's get back to
But seriously, this force saber just appearing out of nowhere. Let's expand on this. Why? Why?
No reason.
Why?
It just exists.
I mean, there might be a
Setting.
reason why, but I don't know. I like it more of just this guy shows up.
So he
Look
shows
what
up.
I got.
Does he say where he's from? Is it a Planet
No.
of the Apes kind of
I
situation?
didn't see anything like that.
Oh,
It
I
was
see.
It just said that he landed and had a force saber, and they learned how to make them from him.
Cool.
Cool. I guess that
Did
works.
he also teach them how to grow corn
Yeah.
and raise cattle?
George is just like, well, wait, where would these people learn to use or make these sabers? Well, a guy just kind of lands there and has one, and they just
don't know.
copy his.
I don't know if
And
George
let's make
had
him a clone, and then he shows up 1,000 years later.
I don't know if George had anything to do with
No,
this.
probably
Probably
Something
not.
like that.
No.
Which is, let me just say, this is pretty out there for someone to just say, I'm just going to make the origins of the Jedi.
I wanted to get at that later.
Let me just do it. I'm just going to do it, and that's what it'll be. And then, for people to then be mad that we made this not canon when someone just said, though, what were those things called? Though your giant pyramids flew around. Bing, bang, boom, print it.
Bing, bang, boom. Guy lands there, has a saber. They're there forever.
Done.
But no, they did make swords, and this is something I wanted to go on with that, is like in the pictures, the swords kind of glowed with a hue of like, not black, red and green and blue.
Oh my God.
So I think the idea is that maybe even lightsabers themselves, they don't produce the color, it's the force within the person kind of has a manifestation of a color. Because like that, like
I don't think that's canon though anymore.
well, I do think so because
Oh, it is?
of Ahsoka having white lightsabers after she denounces the Jedi way.
It's pretty discriminatory against species that don't see in the color light spectrum.
Oh,
Well, what if lightsabers for some people are very vibrant and different colors? And
what if one guy just thinks that everyone has a red saber?
Like the Predator?
Yeah.
did you just say you said it as one guy, as in like Tim over there? He thinks everyone has a red lightsaber. What an idiot, Tim!
Tim, not everyone has a red saber. He just tries to fight everyone.
Throw things at him. Oh, it's a Sith.
That's your Bob. It's a broom.
It's your mom with a broom. Okay. Oh boy, we are getting off topic here. Force wars. People wanted to go too far to the light. People wanted to go too far to the dark. They started to fight each other. Fisticuffs. They were like, wait a second, we can make swords. So they started to make swords and they started to fight each other.
Then they had the Force saber from the dude.
Then the Force saber.
So they had this giant war on Tython, and they were like, what was the name of the guy who led the dark side people?
Master Rajivari.
Yeah, he was basically like, screw this, we want more power than anything. And so he led the dark side, or the Bogan people, and they lost.
Yeah, they lost. But that was the thing.
Was there a significant number difference between the two armies?
I didn't. There's
sure.
not that
I think it was pretty evenly matched.
information, but I would say that because of this war, because of them fighting, and because of the balance being kind of stricken back and forth, it caused a bunch of force storms again, and it basically ravaged Tython.
Yeah, Tython was like a barren wasteland after this.
Right.
Jeez.
Basically, they Mandalored it.
Yep. Or Malachored it. Malachor, Mandalore, same difference.
They Manticored it.
Manticore.
Made it unlivable?
Yeah,
Pretty
basically
much.
made it unlivable, and it was at that point. Well, actually, no. When the Queen was coming, what didn't they turn the pyramids?
No, that was before.
Okay.
We didn't talk about that. This is before the Force Wars. The Rakatan Infinite Empire.
Oh yeah. The Eternal
from-
Empire.
From KOTOR, you might remember it. The people with the eyes on the sides of their heads.
Yeah.
They were invading or trying to invade Tython, and they figured out, or there was a guy called the Gatekeeper who like knew about how to use the giant, what are they called? Thoyors.
Yeah,
the giant
Thoyors.
pyramids. And they figured out how, if they meditated and used the Force and like put it into the pyramid, and it was really vague.
You know.
And it would shoot giant bolts of energy, like cannons,
Like Super Saiyan it.
Wow.
and they used them to blow up the
ships.
The ships. They just like launched giant artillery into the sky, and
Oh my.
Imagine that visual. Wow.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Like people just fighting. Man, I'm seeing this as a video game right now. That's
seeing
your
it as a
final. That's your
yes.
final freaking mission in the video game is to protect the people who are meditating over the Thoyors, and
my
then just the
God.
final the final big cinematic is these things just going boom, and just.
it'd be like on Starkiller Base.
I was gonna say like Starkiller Base just shooting these huge lasers and taking out ships left and right. But yeah, so they all worked together then. They didn't work together during the Force Wars. They were basically mortal enemies. And I think it just kind of became that thing of people going, well, I like this side more.
Yeah,
you
they all
know,
kinda split up.
I should be able to do this and not be sent to a different planet or a
Yes.
different moon just because I think this way. So they fought. Basically, the dark side lost, which it usually does. Like if you go through the stories, the dark side rises up and then it falls, and then it rises up and then it falls, and then it rises up in a different way. Oh, this is a weird way, and then it falls.
Yeah.
And then we see it, the rule of two.
Yeah.
It rises up and it fell. That's just how it's gonna go.
That's how you bad guys always lose. Anyway, so they ended up leaving and going on this worldwide tour. And
Conquest.
the dark side people. Anyway,
She was just another conquest. All right, Johnny, why aren't you talking about
I'm
this?
sorry. I'm just slacking off.
We're giving you that backup
I'm
music.
sorry, man. They went on this like wandering to find a new
He specifically didn't say conquest.
wandering
Yes, okay.
to find a new homeworld, and this is where we kind of think they got lost for a while, went
Yeah.
to different places, but the whole Sith origin.
This
Says
is-
these dark side Jedi
Yeah.
landed on Korriban, and then all the Sith people were like, "Whoa, you can do magic!" And then they that's how the Sith got started.
Right, because they could do the magic. The Sith ideology kind of fit with the dark side, and that's why they kind of adapted the name of being Sith.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then Sith purebloods are the actual Sith, bubblegum faces. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So these original
skin.
yeah, these original people on Tython, the people who are the dark side, they're not Sith. They
Yeah.
are dark Jedi.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Sith came much later. But I think this happened in the Jedi right after this. After the dark sides left, they formed the Jedi Order, which is
Right.
the regular version of Jedi.
Right, which is when they went to Osis.
Yes, because they left Tython because it was a heap of garbage.
All right, so we're going a lot of places here.
Yes.
I want to bring it back for the listener that might be listening in and getting lost.
And trying to search conquest
Right. By the white
by the
stripes.
white stripes.
Was the Civil War pretty contained
To the
between
planet, yes.
those planets? And then when people wanted to leave outward, they did afterwards.
Yes.
And I mean, the names of the planets aren't important,
Right.
But yeah, okay. So the Sith or Dark Jedi,
Yeah.
find this planet and they kind of just stay there. Do we know why they chose that
No,
planet?
the Sith didn't.
Is it just because they found
this?
this people that they
Oh, you mean the Korriban when they go to Korriban?
Yep.
It was strong. The dark side energy is the only reason
That's
they
really
kind
the
of
big
say.
reason.
Yeah, they're not like oh, we like the weather or something like
Yeah,
that.
Korriban is super filled with dark side
Yeah,
energy.
So they were just like, ooh, this looks like a good place to go. I don't know if they knew it was inhabited or not. Although some of the people that were brought to the place, to Tython, were Sith, like Sith purebloods.
Yeah.
So they were there. They could have been the dark side people. So
You would think the people that were concentrated on keeping balance would try to persuade these people or convince them not to, I don't know, leave.
Yeah,
not to colonize other places without them even knowing at least, because they're
You're
just going
right.
to cause trouble.
well, we don't know until KOTOR 3 what's going to happen.
Right. So yeah, to give a couple bullet points, the Jedi Order started approximately 36,000 years BBY. There was a bunch of pyramids that went and picked people up like a school bus. No one knows where they came from. They converged on a singular colossal one in Tython. Tython had two moons, Ashla and Bogan, which was presented as the light side and the dark. Temples were constructed around the ships, and basically they lived there in harmony, in balance for a very long time. Then members strayed too close to Bogan, the dark side, People strayed too much to Ashla. They started fighting. The planet started revolting because of the storms. All these things happened. Some guy showed up with a lightsaber. Anyway, they left the planet after ravaging it. Dark Jedi basically went to Korriban, and then the Jedi Order moved towards Ossus, which is where we are right now. And Ossus was a planet that they, converged on. They kind of put their teachings together. They also brought in other people, because you would have to think, on planets, people are able to move stuff, and it's like, oh, what is this? So people did also make their own orders on different planets. They brought them in to kind of like converge to make the Jedi Order more varied. And it was around that time that they tried to stay separate from the Galactic Republic, which was starting up. And while they were staying separate, they kind of finished the design for a lightsaber and made that more of a thing. That
was that a goal? Like after that one lightsaber showed up, well, this is number one
They were trying
priority.
to perfect it.
it was a secret thing too.
Oh,
they didn't
I
want
see.
other people to know the technology, so they kept it under wraps for a long time, and then they kind of created it, made it useful that everyone can do it type thing. Every Jedi at least, and then around 25,000 BBY, the Jedi joined the Galactic Republic. So all this stuff happened in about 10,000 years from
is a pretty
being
long time.
taken to Tython all the way to the Jedi Order meeting up with the Galactic Republic. And then the Sith kind of doing their own thing and all of a sudden coming back. But that's a good little rundown of the beginning stages of the Jedi Order. There's a lot more we can get into, which we will at some point.
Just to say 10,000 years for that entire little piece of history to have taken place, that's believable to me.
That's a pretty long time, yeah.
And like I said, you would have to believe a whole lot of those people lived very normal, great lives. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like let's just throw a number out there that maybe for 300 years nothing happened, and they just did their thing of keeping the balance and going to the different continents and learning stuff, and everything was hunky dory.
Hunky dory.
And then
Hi, I'm Hunky Dory.
more characters coming into the studio.
I just like
Hello,
to
my
imagine
name is Hunky Dory.
Someone's name is Dory, and they're just really hunky.
What is hunky? What does that mean?
Oh,
If you're
I
a
think you
hunk.
know. You're a hunk.
And her name is Dory.
Yes.
And she's
Or
a
his.
hunk.
Yeah.
Does it even matter?
No.
Nah.
Anyway, but that's sort of the origins of the Jedi. Something that you can quiz your other Star Wars fans on, of being like, well, did you know it was actually spelled JE''DAII because it was basically the balance keepers.
Say it like that. Say it like that at a party with a drink in your hand.
What,
With that
like a
cadence.
Mountain Dew, no cool drink.
Yeah.
just something that they had, no ice,
Specifically Mountain
with
Dew.
your name written on the cup.
That's right.
And actually, the name of the guy who brought the lightsaber was
Zesh or whatever.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks.
And make sure you're talking to like a 10-year-old child.
Who just so happens to be at this party.
Yeah.
Who
Because
already
you're at a
knows.
child's birthday party showing off how much you know about the origin of the Jedi.
Because they just so happen to have like Star Wars napkins.
Yeah, because one of them is dressed up like Kylo Ren. You're like, are you really a fan?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
are you really a fan? Spell Jedi.
God.
Do you even know though you're? Oh.
God.
So
don't.
do that. Now that you've learned all that, you can do it.
You can do it. We believe in you.
Yeah, as Calhoun drinks some of the last of his blue lemonade bantha meat. But bantha milk, oh my gosh.
What if I marinated some bantha meat in this blue stuff?
Oh,
Gross.
it's just filled with like fats and oh my gosh. So yeah, is there anything we want to kind of talk about, like this, the beginning stages of this? I mean, would we want to see this become a canon thing? At least,
No.
Okay.
Short answer.
All of this,
Yeah,
no. But what would we want to see?
I like that question, and I will tell you. I would like to see any sort of origin story on the big screen that showed minimal technology, even if it was for a short period of time. You know how we get that little glimpse of Krypton in Man of Steel?
Yeah.
Whether your opinion on that movie is high or not, I'm just saying I liked that little peek, and more of that in movie form would be good.
Or even any of the technology being kind of
Developed.
ancient.
Yes.
New technology from what they were able to kind of decipher from it, and then ancient technology like that they would just do.
Yeah. And I'm always up for new Jedi with different races.
What I would have liked to see is, they're able to do space travel at this point, and I don't. 36,000 years in the past is a little much. So maybe like 7,000 years. That's a long time
that's too
for
long.
the Jedi Order to be around. 7,000, 10,000 years before. But to see not a huge spiritual development of them being taken to a planet. I'd like to see them finding this thing, even call it a Thoyor, and being like, this thing is force sensitive and it's calling to us. And there's a huge exodus of people going. You know what I mean? People
it'd be kind of creepy because you wouldn't know what's
think
happening.
about like you've seen people on planets on Nar Shaddaa or whatever, like having this call. I feel something calling me, and then it getting out that you guys need to go to Tython or whatever it may be, and calling all people and they all go type. I could see that. I'm not a big fan of this. Well, there's just a bunch of them, and then you get inside and they fly you, zip you around, and they take you.
They made it a little sloppy.
Right.
Is the word I would use. Sloppy is a sloppy origins.
Well, do you remember the thing that they fly up on in the Mortis?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
That's what I was picturing.
yeah. It looks like a Mortis is a thing in
The Clone
Wars, and it kind of looks like a Thoyor in a way. That would be a callback if that thing that's calling everybody is that thing, like in the ground in this planet, and they make the Jedi Order around that. I don't know. Is there anything else we would want to take from this? I really like the Ashla and Bogan Dark
cool.
Moon,
It's a
Light
cool
Moon.
concept.
Yeah, I mean, that would make some striking visuals for sure.
Yes.
There's plenty of comic books. Oh, I bet you they're in the comic books pretty strikingly.
Yeah.
Which they could borrow from. That would be cool. I'd like to see that.
What about you, Johnny? Do you not like this?
The moon thing is cool, I think, but it's kind of sloppy. I mean,
Accidentally cool is what that is.
Yeah.
When everything else is a little.
I don't know how you do that and still not do the rest of it. So I don't know. It's okay. It's a cool story. If it was not Star Wars, I would love it.
What I would see it as, I like that. If it wasn't Star Wars, you would like it a lot because
Yes.
then it would be a self-contained story.
Yeah.
What I would do is have Bogan be that thing, like they exile people or whatever, and not call it exiling them. They, send them on a journey to these planets. And then all of a sudden, people aren't coming back as often as they were from Bogan. And things, there more and more people start leaving, going to Bogan. Why are these people leaving or whatever? And it turns out that people with the feeling, with a little, like I really like this. I'm getting excited. The force call that brought everybody to the planet that people felt, people with the dark side were getting a call that not everyone else could hear.
That's really interesting.
People
yeah.
with that little bit of dark in them were being called to Bogan. And so people started going there, and they started making this dark side, and then that's when the Force Wars happens.
I like that. And to expand on it, what if the light side people were being spoken to in the same voice and being told lies about the dark side? And the dark side people that are being whispered to by the Force are being told lies. Maybe not lies, just, suggestions about the light side. And they say to each other, how can you believe such things?
Right.
And that's how the divide also gets self
That's
actuates.
how the bear kind of gets poked, and then the Force Wars start.
But then we'd have to explain why the Force did such a thing when it really wants balance.
Yeah,
Well-
no, that doesn't really make sense.
Well, I was seeing it with Bogan. I was seeing
It's like someone manipulating.
someone actually being there, being very strong in the dark side, and being able to figure out how that call was being made.
Yeah.
And it being like, if anyone out there has seen The Witch, a horror movie, the devil in that like basically speaks in a whisper. Like, what if, because you could do that very thematically of these people starting to like get a divide with them, like I want to keep the balance or whatever, and blah blah blah, and then like after they walk away, they hear like a, "Why are you holding back?"
Yeah.
Like
So scary.
exactly, and they just keep hearing that whisper until they eventually scratch the itch and go up to Bogan.
I like that too because it also reminds me of some movies that have used the voice of God, and sometimes the voice
Right.
of God is just a whisper, just a suggestive whisper, and so it's very surreal, very ethereal. I like that idea.
All right, well, Lucasfilm, if you want that, you can contact us at 444chattersquadron.com. Oh, all right. I think that was a pretty good little recap.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, if they hadn't known that, they've learned something new.
Right. So share it with your friends if they don't know anything about anything.
That's right.
Yeah, anything about anything, we'll tell them.
And actually, here's a great plan. If they say they're interested in Star Wars, instead of just showing them the excellent films, try to stumble through explaining the origins of the Jedi
Right.
instead.
Yes.
I'm sure they'll be very interested.
But this is something we want to do more is kind of explain things because, we haven't even gotten into what the colors of lightsabers mean or those type of, it's things that people, I wonder how the Jedi even started. Well, there you go, everybody.
Yep. Now you know.
And then I posed a question on our social media to people, which is, I believe it was worded, could you live the Jedi lifestyle? Not getting married, all that type of thing. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and see what people said about that. Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome. Come on in.
Hello.
Where's the counter?
Yeah, this way, miss. This way, dear.
Come
This
here,
way.
sir, and your beautiful wife. Welcome to
calling beautiful?
welcome to
Sure, he's calling you beautiful, of course.
thank you.
Welcome to Hats Emporium, the Hat Palace of Pourers.
Yes, we are looking for hats.
Yes.
My wife here is blind, as you can see, and
see. I can't see that I'm blind.
as he can see, dear. Just step over there for a moment. Yes,
She keeps running into my stock. Can you kind of pull her in?
Yeah, yes, there we go. She's steady. And I just, my young man, I just wanted to say that in order for her to get a feel, you might say, for the hats, she has to touch all the hats. So what do you have to offer?
Well, I would say,
Come here, dear. Come here.
I would say, try out, check it, feel this hat. Now,
feeling
if you see, it has a great bridge to it, and it has a great fabric going on, and also stitched on it, it says, follow Chatter Squadron on Instagram at Chatter Squadron, all one word.
Why is it in Braille?
Oh, well, I was trying to work my way into the unseen hat market.
Didn't know that was a large market.
Well, we're very fortunate that he did, of course.
Yes,
Now,
exactly.
tell me more about this Chatter Squadron.
Well, it's a
Chatterton Squad.
it's a great podcast that my brother, he cleans their place. So I talk to them sometimes, and I'm a big fan of the Star Wars.
Wonderful. Oh, okay. Oh,
So-
I see it's on this other hat. Dear, touch this hat. Feel it.
Yes,
Oh,
this
this-
hat, as you can see,
alligator?
it's very large. You have alligator, you have some feathers, and
Yes.
if you see on the inside, it's stitched. Follow Chatter Squadron on the Facebook page, Chatter Squadron, a Star Wars podcast, where you can join their conversations there.
Oh,
Okay, well, why would you put it on the inside?
Well,
Yeah.
just in case you need to remember
It is
it.
an alligator's mouth. What if I put my head inside of it?
Yes,
Like
you
a
can
hat,
put.
like this?
That's exactly how you're supposed to wear it,
I
sir.
see it. It comes over the head. And
Oh, I can still read. Look at that. Chat to Squadron. Oh, look at this.
Yes.
I can still see it in my peripheral.
Exactly.
Do you want to put it on? I know you can't see what you look like, dear, but you look fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
This well, before you leave with that perfect alligator hat, here is my pinnacle of hats, which is it just looks like a normal dad hat, right? With the 5 stitching and everything.
Yes.
But if you turn it over, it says, now subscribe to Chatter Squadron on their YouTube channel, because for your wife, especially to enjoy, they're showing all of their episodes coming soon in a visual format.
Are you being cheeky with me?
Well,
I think he's being quite...
You get a little smart
After
with
we
me?
have explained very kindly what we were here for, to touch these hats because my wife is visionless.
Jethro, don't let him get away
I
with
won't.
this.
No, he's running away. Come back here, young man.
no, I was just trying to come back.
No, we don't. You know what? We'll take this whole store. I'm buying this hat store.
Oh, you know what? I've been trying to get this off my hands for a long time. That would be a great deal, sir.
Oh no!
You know what?
I don't want him to be happy.
He's very happy.
Well, I actually already have you signed this contract.
Oh no! He signed that contract to walk in the door.
Oh,
Yes.
I can't see it. I don't know. I should.
Yeah, and you signed it, Miss. You signed it in Braille, and it looks.
I can't sign anything in Braille, you idiot.
You poked tiny holes into it.
Morse code.
Luckily, you guys have bought my store, and I can finally go and support Chatter Squadron in all kinds of ways, being social media and financially, sending them money. I can't wait to do this even more. Thank you guys. I'll catch you guys later. It's fun to see us laughing about absolutely nothing.
Well, the listener will be able to see and listen to those soon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chatter Squadron. We're talking about the fact that we're starting to build up a visual library, I guess you would say, of entire episodes. You would be able to go to our YouTube channel, and I would say subscribe now, because we're building up basically all of our episodes just visual, and you can watch every single thing. You can watch me slump in my chair and then realize I should have better posture throughout the show.
Yep.
You can see Johnny doing whatever it is he's doing right now. Yeah, he's turning into some type of creature. And you can also lose some of the jokes that we do because we pretend that we're seeing things or doing things.
But yeah, they might be behind the camera. All those things.
Oh yeah, all those things, like when the that wolf or whatever creature was coming to attack us.
Oh yeah, I specifically remember that thing stayed behind the camera.
It was
crazy.
It ran and then almost like a force field just stopped it
Yeah.
right behind the camera.
which I'm thankful for, because otherwise it would have been out of budget.
yes, yeah.
It was a camera shy. One of those camera shy wolves.
What were those called again?
I don't know. Something like Dude Order.
Dude, door.
No.
Wait, I can find it. I can find it. Guys, talk about Stalin again.
Stalin.
Oh man, I love Stalin.
But I think Lenin is a more interesting looking person.
Let me tell you.
Simply because of mustache style.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
It's called an Anuba.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, Nuba.
All right, so
This week's question, however, is...
could you live the Jedi lifestyle? On our Facebook page, Kevin Michael Lavia. I like that name. Mm-hmm. Nope, Sith all the way.
At least they're upfront about it.
Yeah, at least they're upfront about it. That Sith scum.
Well, that's still something that they can still adhere to an ideology. This
Right.
person is saying.
Good for them.
Because really they're both pretty strict, and they're both pretty constricting to your life.
Letitia _dragon on Instagram. I hope you took a day off from work, because the last time we heard from you, you wanted to only use the Force to not work. Try and get some PTO. Yeah. Take some time. Go out to a cafe.
Yeah, try that.
Drink an Americano. Just read the news? It's been so cheery lately. She said, nope, I'd fall for the dark side immediately. What is going on?
Guys, come
with
on.
these listeners?
Do you know what they make you do?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, well, you can't really get married. Oh, okay, I'll just go kill my family because I'd rather do that than...
Can't get married. I'll kill everyone I know.
Right.
Are we sad that our listeners think that they would just immediately fall to the dark side? Or are we happy that they're honest with themselves and they're not trying to hide the fact that they might be horrible people?
I'd like to be mad. So I'm going to say
I'm angry at you, listener.
Letitia said, continues with, I'm reading a book about Star Wars and philosophy and realizing my personality fits best with the Sith code. Not that I'm proud of it, but it's the truth. Hey, Letitia, you are the most truthful.
You're living your truth.
I have a question, Letitia.
All that can be said.
Are you reading one book about Star Wars and another about philosophy, or did someone write a Star Wars philosophy book?
Oh, yeah.
If they did, send it to me.
Yeah,
yes. Or don't physically send it to me.
No, send it to us at 444chattersquadron.com.
Oh my gosh.
.road.
But tell us which one that is. I'd like to read it.
.drive. .avenue. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Ned Flanders?
Nazen DVG.
Let me see it.
Dude.
For Pete's sake.
Middle one.
Oh. Nazen Deve Ganayim. Well, it's all one word. No spaces, no underscores. I don't think so. I would be a Sith, and I'm proud of it.
Do you know what?
Would you look at that.
We're gonna have to do an episode about what Sith people have to do. Because
Hey, didn't you fight for the Sith during a debate in a prior episode?
I don't know who that was. That wasn't me.
That's true. That was a guy shrouded in a
Unfortunately,
hood.
that's not recorded on video or audio.
Yeah. Fortunately, we lost that to time.
And then Craig T. Bryant. I would way prefer the Sith one.
Come on, guys.
I guess Jedi hardly get any time to themselves. But since the rule of two, the only Sith that could tell you how to live your life is your master. So then you would just need to overthrow him.
Okay, but you have to kill him, or the person below you is going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's not.
And also the whole you just have to overthrow him thing was literally Sidious's plan that he would put in his apprentices' minds to keep them around.
Right.
He knew that they couldn't overpower him, but he would tell them that that was the plan all along.
And also
just so they would try it and he'd get a new one.
especially Vader, who he specifically made his suit, Sidious made his suit to be susceptible to force lightning.
Right. And that's why Vader stuck. He was the one that lasted the longest in that he outlived the Emperor because he stuck around and just did whatever he said. I went long.
And then he was the one. What he was saying was he was the one that could kill him, but he just couldn't because he would die in the process. But then he chose that anyway.
Of course.
But like, also you have to think. Okay, rule of two doesn't mean that there can be no other Sith. It means there's just two leaders of the Sith, which means you could just be a lackey that just gets told to do stuff all the time.
Yeah, think about Asajj.
Yeah.
she gets thrown into the dirt the minute that they can. And also Asajj is spending a lot of time getting apprentices of her own and working. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I wanted. I like Asajj.
Yeah.
Like, she's actually a likable character because she's very, very loyal, and then she's betrayed,
Right.
Or it's taken from her, and she had such a horrible upbringing that the only thing she has is rage.
Yes.
Like she's a very, very relatable character. I like Asajj, but that's a thing though. That is a It's almost like we can see the benefits of the dark side, of there being a dark side. Because she deals with all these hardships by just lashing out in rage.
The way you're talking, Mike, it might seem like you need to take a trip up to Ashla pretty soon here because you're starting to stray a little bit to the dark side.
I'm lobbying for Ashla today. Nice to meet you. I'm Mike.
No, I'm not gonna shake your hand.
That's fine. You have lots of hands to shake when you're on the stretcher and we're pulling you apart up in Ashla.
Oh God!
I wonder how
We'll just rip off your hands. We'll give you new hands, and then you can shake all of our hands.
I wonder.
Thanks.
I wonder if that's how it is. Like you're seen as like dirty if you start thinking one way or the other. Like
Sure, probably.
in the original Jedi Order, like, wait, you started to say that? I can't even believe you. I'm not even going to listen to you.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
go somewhere else.
I really wonder where people are coming up with the concept of Sith that doesn't seem terrible.
I don't
I
know.
just came up with one.
Oh yeah,
But that
and
seems-
works.
Some
That's-
sort of psychological management.
But that seems horrible.
It does seem
She's
horrible.
just living in
does-
rage.
it doesn't
She's
sound-
living, yeah, like a living hell.
It must be that they don't like the Jedi way. That's the only thing I could think of. Only thing I could
oh,
be like,
like, hey, you're not going to tell me not to have a wife?
yeah.
Well, there's
or-
that, but
or a
also the
significant-
fact that people love the idea of red lightsabers and force lightning and all that type of thing.
Yeah,
It's like
and it is
people love the
cool.
Joker, even though he's killed millions of people in,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
various renditions
Right.
of him.
And for me, I see it philosophically interesting.
Yes.
Those people, not idolizing them and being like,
I want
"Oh
my
man,
life.
I wish I was like that."
I want to suffer
Because
No one
my
wants to.
favorite, I'm saying it, my favorite Star Wars character is Kylo Ren because of the depths of his character
Yep.
and being able to understand it. Would I want to be Kylo Ren? Not at all. It seems absolutely horrible. I saw somebody did like a comic of Kylo being a young kid and Han and Leia arguing in the other room saying like, be quiet or he'll hear us or whatever. And him thinking to himself saying, what am I, a monster or something? Like they can't even talk to me. And then he is older and his uncle tries to kill him and he's like, man, I must be a monster. And then Snoke has him and says, you're my monster. And he's like, I must be a monster. And then Rey in the forest says, you killed him. You're a monster. And he says, yes, I am. Because his whole life has been, I'm a monster. All right, well, I guess I'm just going to have to do the things a monster would do. That's
Yeah,
his life.
wow.
And that's not
That's terrible.
cool. That's horrible. You should not want that.
Very Shakespearean.
It is, yes.
I like
Anyway.
it. I like it.
Final answer, Matthew Worthridge.
Oh, there he is, the good old standard. Come on, don't let me down.
Our gold standard thumb up alumni.
Gold star.
Don't let me
listener.
down, Matthew.
I'm going to be honest. I couldn't follow a Jedi lifestyle. I would follow more of a gray Jedi
Okay.
path where I could force choke the crap out of my enemies or just play sort of a double agent role in a way, never siding with one side of the Force.
You can't.
It's all about balance.
He wants his cake and eats it too.
About his double agent comment. So
Yeah.
he's still anticipating that he's going to be like helping people out, you know, like, oh yeah, I'll do this job for you. Why don't you just go and just, I don't know, have a peaceful life of just going to the club every night.
A lot of
as a
people
Jedi.
really like the idea of
Being an adventurer?
inserting themselves in these conflicts.
Yeah.
Which I feel like if I lived there and this Empire stuff was going on,
be like, "See ya."
No, thank you.
I'm out. I'm gonna go start a intergalactic podcast
Yeah.
about how crazy this war is.
Hey, what about that Luke Skywalker guy? Apparently everyone's looking for him, but hey, wasn't there a Jedi named Skywalker? I think there's a connection there.
No.
We're taking a caller right now. Caller, what do you think about this Jedi thing?
I always thought that they were fake.
Hey, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some things on the HoloNet.
Hey, are you from Space Brooklyn?
Yeah, that's where I saw some people float into the sky and disappear.
Oh man,
Sir,
You think them Jedi's done that?
it looks like on your name here and caller ID, it's Ron. What's that filter?
Filtermore.
Biltmore. Yeah,
Hey.
that's the one. Thanks for taking my call. I've been a long time
What?
listener, first time caller.
Wait, why is there 11 apostrophes in your name?
Row on filt or more or
George!
George. How dare you, George? George Costanza.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway,
I thought you were. Calhoun cleared his throat
Was there-
like he was
okay.
about to say something, and then he just took a drink.
did anyone say that they would do the Jedi
No.
lifestyle?
No one
Are you
did.
serious?
Here, I will.
I would.
Here we go.
Me too.
I will agree
One
with you.
for me.
I'll agree with you. I I could live the Jedi lifestyle. I have no desire right now to get married. I have no desire to have children. I could live very zen. I could, if only my job was to like meditate for
And just
hours.
be a peacekeeper.
And then someone comes and asks me for my help for something, and
Your
I am
wisdom.
just like, and I am just so spectacularly wise. Are you kidding me?
That sounds awesome.
That sounds like I do that every day.
You have a super peaceful life, and you protect people, and you're wise.
Yeah, think about if you
There might be
lived like 150 years before the Phantom Menace, when there is no Sith, there wasn't a galaxy-wide war. There's wars going on.
or just a week before the
Really, yeah.
Phantom Menace, because they went into that meeting going, well, I guess we have to go to this meeting. That was what it was. It was just like, well, they sent us here on a routine inspection kind of
Exactly.
thing. And I don't sense anything.
They were so chill and just being like,
yeah.
hey, I'll teach you some stuff while we're on this mission. Why not? I mean, we have all the time in the world.
all the Padawans that faced quote unquote the trials leading up to the Phantom Menace had it easy.
Right.
It's true.
Most of the trials in the Jedi Order after that fact were things they had to do during the Clone Wars.
trial. We need you to secure an entire fleet out in space. You know how to fly? Oh, you graduated yesterday. Perfect. These guys have never flown. They'll be your squad. They'll be
squad.
backing you up.
And then you're going to go on the ground, and we're going to give you 150 forces, and you just have to lead them, and just go ahead and lead them because
might be
you're
a
a
lot of
Jedi.
opposition.
You're a Jedi, right? You know how to wage war? That's a great point. Why was the Galactic Republic like, you know what? We need some generals.
Because Palpatine was
He just wanted to kill them all,
Yes,
obviously.
exactly.
But
he was trying to inject them into the war to then overthrow them with the war.
yeah, they probably should.
I was gonna offer my opinion on like how they fell for that, but I will save that for another time.
Yes.
But no, I think what you were saying, Mike, is the best way to think about it. Is literally you sit there, you meditate, you pull up on your hollow screen. Oh, look, I have a mission from Master Windu.
Or
I guess
you
I'll
could-
go meet with him in an hour and we'll talk about it.
Or you could even be one of like the librarian Jedi.
That's what I was
going
gonna
to
say.
Never leave.
And
you
just
could just-
work in a beautiful temple.
Yeah. And on the top level, the most luxurious level of the most busy planet.
Right, the pinnacle of technology in the Star Wars universe.
So, yeah, of course I would just be
Or
like a librarian.
you
and
could be a
learn.
lackey, a Sith, unless you were a master.
Unless you were back when there was allowed to be other Sith.
Right, when you were a part of an order and it wasn't like pain and suffering all the time. Like that is what the dark side is. You would have to always have pain, always have suffering, because you have to fuel that dark side energy. You have to, because you are a Sith. If not, you're a weak Sith. If you're not going through pain and torment, you're weak, and that's when you could die.
Other Sith kill you.
Right.
It's like a CEO mentality versus a Buddhist monk mentality.
Seriously.
And I don't want to be on 100%, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like a CEO.
Right. And you can even think about that same thing with Snoke, because he obviously was getting way too overzealous, thinking that, Ren will just do his thing and I have him under my thumb at all times. And literally, he got cut in half at the peak of his
power.
His confidence was his weakness.
So imagine living a life where even at your highest moment, the people closest to you can cut you in half. I don't know. Listener, listen, I'm going to level with you.
You guys are misguided.
Yeah.
You just need to like think about what you're saying.
Is this Bill Cosby? You need to think about.
Nope. Not going there.
No?
No.
You okay. I thought Bill Cosby came in. So many people are just coming into the set today.
That's true. That is true.
That is true. Sorry.
That's true.
That is a reference I made to something that I didn't explain.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Apologies.
so listener, come on. Don't go to the dark side. Come to the light.
Come to the light. It's way better.
Is it?
Yes. That's what we concluded.
I like the balance idea, to be honest with you.
Sure. I like the light better.
You do?
Yeah.
What about you? Balance or light, Mike?
Balance.
Balance.
Always balance.
Yeah. You can't have good without some bad. You can't have bad without some good. And I think that's what brought down the Jedi Order. They just thought they had it all.
That's what I thought I had.
You thought you had it all?
I thought I had it all.
Then what happened?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet. You haven't had your pinnacle.
I haven't had my comeuppance yet.
You haven't had your story arc yet.
No. I'm like still on the rising hill part.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Hey, we'll keep you guys updated as the show goes on as to Johnny's story arc.
Thank you.
But no, I do think balance is a little better.
Sure. Maybe.
Yes, Tyler, we agree with you. Will you let us leave?
No, here because
No, he won't let us leave.
I'm not gonna.
Eating my shoes.
I'm eating his shoes.
Stop eating my shoes.
We're gonna meet in the middle.
Oh, it's like
It's like the Lady and the Tramp.
No, wait, get the shoelace.
Dude, what has the end of this episode turned into?
I don't know.
I don't know. You keep saying, yeah,
won't
I
end.
like balance. And I keep going, yeah, I agree. And then we joke. And then you go, yeah, I like the balance idea.
I just don't think you guys understand. I like the balance.
Johnny.
I don't like the balance.
No, Johnny, you did the wrong thing.
Johnny, no. Here, let me tell you. I like the balance.
No, I like the balance.
Yeah, we like the balance too, Tyler.
That's a real good balance.
It's real good that you like that.
It's really good that you like that balance. And we're all happy you do.
We're all happy about the balance. Tyler.
The balance is great.
Okay, listener, I'm not ending this episode until you say in your head that you like the balance.
No.
Do it. Just say it, or give us the gas.
Wow. There's two things. Either say you like the balance or go support a stormtrooperaday.com and help support the show. All right. You know what? I guess I'll end the episode. Finally.
Thank goodness.
Thank God.
He's going to let us leave.
But there's one more thing I want to say.
What is it?
I really like the idea of like the balance.
Oh, God.
So let me tell you guys.